morning, Dominica. Good morning, Eastern Caribbean. Welcome to another Creole Heartbeat program. It's a pleasure to be in your company this morning. Look at this special bonjour pour tout le monde, tout le monde, tout le monde. Tout quoi la Dominique et aux Antilles, c'est un grand plaisir pour nous là. Comme messieurs, mesdames, nous avons vraiment, disons. Bonjour, maman, pile l'applicateur BC, je la sais, mais c'est pas oublié. Nous attendons cyclone, nous attendons tapette, nous pour protéger qu'on est, mais fait ça, nous ni tout vite, nous supposons ni pour attendre cyclone en ordre, messieurs. We have to make sure that we are prepared. We are in the hurricane season, and we have to make sure that we get ourselves ready for in the event of any incidents or any activity that may be coming our way. We want to say good morning to you wherever you are, and just want to welcome you to another Creole Heartbeat program. Today we're going to be dealing with the young people. We are going to be dealing with a special young organization, men. And I felt very interested in this particular group of young guys, the direction that they plan to go, some of the activities that they are planning to organize. So I felt it was very important that we give them a listening ear. As a matter of fact, they have a major conference coming up. That's a men's mental health conference coming up very soon. And it's just so happening when young people can come together and look at the positive side of life. And I felt it was very important that we highlight some of the activities that they may be engaging into and give them a listening ear. Because we always talk about our youth and always in a negative way. But I think these young men, we will actually a different side of some of their goals, aspirations, dreams. Let's move across to Studio 2, the Felix Anderson studio, and say good morning to our special guest. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys? How are you?
We are great.
We are great.
Absolutely. I love that. We are still expecting, I think, Shelvin Dominic. But firstly, I want to welcome you to Creole Heartbeat. Feel as free as possible to express yourself. Be as open-minded as possible. We may open the lines so that some of our callers can actually interact with us and express yourself. That's the time, that's the opportunity we are going to give you to express yourself. So first of all, tell us your name and your position in the Boys to Men organization.
Good morning once again to all the listeners. My name is Dylan Regis. I am 17, and since we're a new group, we decided that we want to see where things go and how roles can fit certain members. So we have not yet quite decided the official positions, but that is something that is coming very soon.
Absolutely. And my other friend, introduce yourself.
Good morning to those listening at home and abroad. I am Terji Banis, one of the a member of the Boys to Men Holistic Group. As my comrade Dylan mentioned, we haven't officially designated any positions yet. We're still sorting that out.
Absolutely, and that's okay. And we just want to welcome Shelvin Dominic. Good morning to you, Shelvin.
Good morning to the listeners of DBS Radio. My name is Shelvin Dominic. I am from the St. Anne's Parish, from Maho, and I am here to speak about the Men to Men Symposium.
Okay, basically give us an idea of your group, membership, and how important it was for you to form or actually bring some of your friends together to form this particular group.
Well, the reason why I took on this initiative to form this group is because of the high cases of suicidal we have been seeing in our country, Dominica.
Suicides, okay.
Suicide, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt moved, and then I contacted my fellow young men, and I told them that we should form something positive to help save our young men in Dominica, because we're finding a lot of our young men are going. So I felt moved to have these positive young men with me to bring this organization to reality.
Why Boys to Men?
Well, Boys to Men is actually the name I came up with, and we decided to do that when we came together in our first meeting. And we say Boys to Men because right now in Dominica, the mindset, even of the adults in the country, the mindset is very, how could I say this? It's very limited to what can be. And a lot of that reason is because of the smoking of marijuana that is going on, and because of that, young men haven't matured, old men haven't matured. If you tell them something, they might tell you something about your mother that you've never heard of. But boys to men, so that we can really fix this country, really, you know.
This is extremely interesting. And you mentioned a while ago the increase in suicide cases. As young people, what's your overall impressions of what you have been observing taking place with the young people, in particular young men?
Well, I believe like a lot of young men, like they need hope. Like I believe we're facing a mental health crisis in Dominica. Like a lot of young men, they go into drugs, using violence as a way to cope. And I believe that the Boys to Men organization will fill that void in to bring hope to these young men and to inspire positive change in our country. Because we have to be the change we want in our communities.
Absolutely, and this is so prevalent. And, I must say, just give our listeners an idea or a little some more information of whether any one of you are part of any other group, young group or youth group or any other organization in Dominica. We can start with you, Shaving.
Well, for me, I am a part of the Leos Club of Dominica, and I'm part of the St. Anne's Youth Group, where we are a Catholic-based group, but we also go out there to evangelize to get the young men to be part of these religious act, because a lot of our young people are lacking God in their life. They lacking that spirituality in their well-being, because I always tell them life is not about CO and faith. Once you have a proper relationship with Christ, He will give you everlasting life, and that is the best relationship that one could ask for.
Absolutely. So you guys don't party. You don't partake in the normal CWO activities.
Well, I am not being hypocrite. We do go. Well, I do take part in the Calypso show.
Calypso show,
hosted by the Leo Club of Dominica, and I do go out there in birthday parties and enjoy myself.
That's not CWO, man.
Yeah, I mean.
Is that CWO?
Well, not really, but I love to balance it, like enjoy myself, but in a meaningful way. Yes.
And are you born again Christians by chance? Any one of you?
Yes.
All of
you?
you?
Well, I'm a Catholic.
I'm also Catholic.
Well, I'm a Christian. I'm not a Catholic,
Christian. And around you guys are so many young people involved in several other activities besides what you do. How are you able to stay focused? What are some of the activities that you indulge in?
Well, for sure, it's not easy. It's not easy. But at the end of the day, it comes down to who you know you are. There's a lot of bad mind people out there, so they'll tell you all type of thing to discourage you and try and take you off the right path. But, at the end of the day, once you're certain that you want to change yourself and you want to make a change in the place you are, your community, it'll be a lot easier.
Absolutely. I love what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Let's get back to some of the activities that you plan to keep during your special time that you are a group. I know that's special upcoming men's mental health conference is one of your major activities. Is that your first activity that you'll be planning?
Yes, sir. That's our first.
You don't have to call me sir, man. I was knighted by no queen. You can just call me Wadix or Prince Wadix or Ambassador Wadix.
Yes.
Any of those would do me good.
Yeah.
So it's for the classroom and for England when England knighted you or knights you,
Manners.
I know, brought up. That's the difference. Etiquette.
Yeah. Etiquette, yeah.
Those days, that's not very common.
Yeah, that's true. That is very
But I'm
true.
giving you the latitude for the hour to just call me Wadix. Just call me Wadix for the duration of the hour. But it's so much of a difference when somebody call you sir, a young person call you sir. Those days, you have that upcoming men's health conference.
Yeah.
Tell us a little more about it.
Well, this year, the 6 Young Men presents our Men to Men Symposium, which is scheduled for the 21st of June 2025 at the UE Open Campus. and my brother Terje will give you more details to that.
So
Okay.
we have
Mhm.
five speakers from different,
Four speakers.
four speakers from different backgrounds. We have Tyrese Francis, who's a teacher at SMA. We also have Philip Rule, who's a parliamentarian, the deputy speaker of the House. We have Fenric Christopher, a corporal of police. Dr. Dylan Hippolyte, who's a doctor, and Dr. Regis, who's a mental health counselor.
Mhm. And what are the various subjects they will be actually covering in that special conference? Or various areas?
Well, for the various areas, well, we gave the presenters different topics. So
Mhm.
the teacher, who is Tyrese Francis, will be speaking about stress, pressure, and performance, managing mental health as a man. That is his topic as a teacher. And for the parliamentarian, Mr. Philip Roll, he will be speaking about building strong brotherhood and support network. That is his topic.
Mhm.
And for Dr. Dylan Hippolyte, who is a young doctor in Dominica at the China Friendship Hospital.
Dominica China Friendship
Dominica
Hospital.
China Friendship Hospital.
Mhm.
His topic would be hold on. His topic is
Well, while Shervin's getting that,
Mhm.
we have Dr. Regis. He will be giving free counseling, individual counseling sessions for about 10 to 15 minutes while while the speakers are speaking. Obviously, Dr. Regis will be giving out free counseling sessions. So if you're in need, and he's a professional, he doesn't spread business, like these Dominicans. So if you need a counseling, if you have something on your heart and you really need to tell somebody and you find you don't have nobody to talk to, you can come down at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is
yes,
back.
we start at 5 p.m. at the UE Open Campus.
Yes, June 21st. Come down and you'll have an ear. Somebody will lend an ear to listen to you and expert advice.
Absolutely.
So Dr.
Mhm.
Dylan Hippolyte will be speaking on healthy body, healthy mind.
Healthy body, healthy mind.
Fine.
Extremely important. As young people, what are some of the stress related areas of life that you experience? We know some of you, at least I know one of you is going to the college, the other one St. Mary's Academy, and you, Shavin?
Well, I attend the Dominica State College.
Dominica
and I
State
am
College. So
studying-
two of you
Yeah, I am studying psychology at the moment.
oh, you're studying psychology. Oh, very important.
Yeah.
By the way, why psychology?
The reason why I chose to study psychology, hence I have been the parish president over the past 15 years now, and having to be dealing with different background, different personalities, it always good to have like a leader to oversight different perspective of the group, to deal with people, to deal with matters on a serious matter. Like, different young people face different challenges, and whereas when they come up to you, you speak to them as a leader, you motivate them to do their best, you try to remove the negativity from their brain, you try to feed their mind with the positivity, because feeding the mind with the positivity helps keep the brain focused, because when you have the mind so much on the negativity, it drains you and then cause you to go down.
Okay, and we were just touching base on the stress level young people actually dealing with, some of your peers, and what are some of those stress levels, and what are they related to, in your opinion? What have you been observing?
Well, one thing I have been observing is depression. Depression is very serious in young men today, and it's it's something that they don't talk about. The young men don't talk about it. Obviously, they try and be men. They try and you fit into society. So if they talk about depression, who's to say what somebody might call them? So depression is definitely one of them.
Okay. And any one of you have any other areas that young men actually suffer from some of the stress that they deal with?
Well, I find a lot of men also struggle from anxiety, like a lot of men.
Anxiety, yeah.
Yeah, it's one. It's not. It's also with depression. They come hand in hand.
But why? Why? What are your age group? How old are you, Shavin?
I am 28,
20.
20s.
20 and
I'm 18.
18,
I'm 17.
17. And why would such young people, like, I mean, you guys, and what is the difference between them and
Okay.
you? And
In-
what are some of your formulas that you use to
Okay.
prevent
What
going
I-
through the same sort of trauma?
Yeah, what I have learned throughout my psychological field is that a lot of our people, we tend to feel like we're supposed to be standing out in society, we're supposed to be fitting in. And that is why a lot of young men tend to fall down the drain because they see their friend living that high life. They see their friend doing the illegal stuff. They want to fit in that bracket. Whereas as a young man, you're supposed to have your own mind and focus on your own self. A friend not supposed to encourage you to do the illegal stuff that you don't want to partake in. So as a young man, you're supposed to remain focused as a young man because so many young men are falling on the wrong side of life because of bad influence. Their friends tell them, boy, he's a little boy, try that now. And it's like, boom, it messes them up and then
In terms of financial stress, any of your peers appear to be, let's say, trying to live above their means and as a result have to be going through that sort of turmoil?
well, to be honest, I believe that so it's something my parents always teach me in life that you should live within your means. And that is why a lot of young people tend to be going into the prison and to end up in police hand and to end up going to the court on a daily basis. I believe that the parents of today, yes, they do teach their
Yes,
children that you should do with what you have and accept what they give you. But there are certain children who take on their own way, they are wayward in them. They will go and do the opposite and go and follow the wrong set of friends and mess up their entire career.
And yes, while we're on that note, parents are very important to the upcoming of young men in society, young women as well, but well, young men. But it's very important to have good parents because parents, they'll encourage you and they'll talk to you. And if you go home, if you go to school, I'm sorry, and you have a bad day, people are bullying you, it's good to know that when you come home, somebody loves you and somebody will talk to you.
Yeah.
But some parents nowadays, they're very harsh to their children, very harsh, and they don't encourage them and they don't give them the mindset that they can do anything in life. You know, thank God that I have good parents and they encourage me that I feel that I can do anything just about. So it's very important to have good parenting.
I also believe that the community also plays a important role because it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
Like we have to look out for one another, be there, be our brother's keeper. Like it's good to have a good company around you to help you nurture you in life, to help you reach your fullest potential. And I think many of our young people fall astray because of who they associate themselves with. So we need to be careful of who we keep in our circle.
This is a special Creole Heartbeat program where we are speaking to some young people, young men in particular, and they'll be organizing a special conference, a special symposium, men's mental health. And why is that so important for you to focus on at your first initiative, as your first initiative?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So, well, as I said before, in Dominica, mental health it's very important, a very important thing, and it affects the workforce, it affects the economy, and it all, to me, what I've seen, it all really stems from the abuse of marijuana as a drug, because there are everywhere you go, everywhere, young, old, they smoking marijuana same way. And what they don't know is marijuana, it does kill your brain, damages your brain cells, and brain cells are the only cell that cannot be repaired.
Yeah.
And as a result, they end up mad, they end up lazy, they don't want to work, they don't have motivation to get up and try and do something better with themselves. So with mental health, when if we can address these issues and make a realization to what is really going on in this country, we hope to mitigate the effects of such crisis in Dominica.
What about the abuse of alcohol?
No, that's very serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very serious. Abuse of alcohol. I mean, there's so many bars in Dominica. I don't know how they all have business. I mean, somebody has to be running out of business, but it doesn't seem so, because even more bars are opening up. There was a game shop where young children, we would go there all the time in the afternoon, and what happened? They're closed down and they open up a bar in place. So the use of alcohol is very bad, very bad. And even the young people, it's so easy, so easy for a 14-year-old, especially girls, a 14-year-old girl, or a 12-year or a 15-year-old boy to go into the bar and get alcohol.
Yeah, but another thing is that some of the people who sell the alcohol should realize that selling alcohol to children is very bad, because having to be so involved in the alcoholic thing, this type of thing, that be hard for somebody to come out from it, addicts.
I know.
It's like you're addicted
true,
to that drugs.
Yes.
Like you want more, but it has some benefit that will kill your body, to damage your liver, it will cause harm to your body, it will mess up your brain development. People have to be very careful with alcohol, especially the young people who are taking high intake of alcohol. This thing can give you sugar. It can give you like accidents,
non-communicable diseases.
yeah, and also accident as well. You find a lot of accident is because of mad people driving on the road. Young people, they driving recklessly on the road, and they drinking and they driving. That is a bad practice.
And lots of lives are lost.
Yeah.
Lot. A lot of lives are lost. And these people in the bar, like Shervin saying, they should be saying to themselves, man, I really shouldn't give this child,
alcohol,
this person who's maybe in third form, alcohol to drink, but they don't care. The business is business to them.
And another thing is that alcohol doesn't make you stronger, and smarter or more respected. It makes you more vulnerable. And young people need to protect your future, and to protect your mind, and to protect your purpose, because choosing power is not the poison. So as young people, you have to be very careful with your life.
Absolutely. We are speaking to some young men. As a matter of fact, the group or the organization is called Boys to Men Organization. Dylan Regist, Tej Banis, Shervin Dominic, and they have an upcoming men's mental health conference, and we're just sort of interacting with them as to some of the ills of society and what they are actually seeing their peers going through, some of the trials, tribulations, some of the occurrences. They continue to witness why it is so important that they want to put on this very, very, very special conference, and I think it is so commendable at this point in time. What about the advent of all this SIWO?
Well, me personally, I'm not gonna say I like it, but I like the idea, expressing culture, expressing yourself. I think it's very good. It's very important, and if you don't like it, then don't go. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think you should bash it per se. But it also plays a part in the laziness of the country today, into the mental state of the country with drugs and alcohol. But as a CEO, I like
it is necessary, but you think there's too much of it.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with CEO.
I think the problem is that people are not balancing it properly.
Yeah.
And they just, at this point, they're coming up with SeaWorld for everything. They're different. There's so many names. I heard Pork Fest,
Yeah.
and apparently that's one. And then somebody was telling me another one, but it's just for anything that
many.
they have CO4 at
Yeah,
this
so
point.
many.
One pot. I mean,
I I
it's,
think I
it's
think we,
bad.
I think if all that CO is happening in the country, I think we should have like a praise and worship jam,
Yes,
because
that is the
I think
problem.
we
That's a
need
good idea.
more spiritual music in
Mhm.
our country, because I find right now we are facing like a dark moment into the country, because the air is so populated with darkness that we are not spreading God's
Well,
message into the country as more as it's supposed to be, because we are seeing that we are living in an end of time crisis right now. That you've seen a lot of things are happening: war, crime,
there's snow
murders, and
coming in
etc.
Dominica.
So many things are happening, and that is an eye opener for God is telling us to put more focus on Him, put more emphasis on Him, because without God in our life, we are nothing. When we die, our soul is nothing.
Well, the problem is it. Well, that is a separate issue and entirely, but it all comes down to the church. You understand? The church really has to step their foot forward and decide, yes, we're going to do this to combat the devil and his works. So
So you think the church in itself is too dormant?
yes,
They're not
abs-
aggressive enough in trying to reach the
absolutely.
young people.
It's more
Yeah,
outspoken on the
yes,
matter.
They're not outspoken on several
and
issues.
it's very. I mean, when for some churches, it's very boring. And as a young man, if I go in jam every other week, and I hear a big booyah music that blasting in my chest, I feeling that when I go home and sleep, I dreaming about that. And then I go, I get my rum, my weed, I pull up with my partners, I cool. And then I come inside church on a Sunday,
Yeah.
and I hearing some dead music, the people not singing. I mean, some people sit down when they worshiping, some people stand up, and it's just not entertaining to the young people. And there's a very old mindset. You
Yeah.
understand? Very old mindset in
Yeah.
some of these churches today.
I-
Because we live in a society now where the church has to come to young people, because many young people are not come to church.
Yes.
Yeah, I find that, as Sergey said, I find a lot of young people don't attend church on a regular basis on a Sunday, because when we come to church on a Sunday, you find it more of the older folks at church, whereas you hardly find in a high population of young people at mass. But I think that we the older people in the church too need to welcome the young people with open arm, and do not bash them, and do
Yes.
not criticize them, and let them feel like they are not worthy to be there, because we are not one to cast this sin upon us, because we are all sinners. The Pope himself said that we are all sinners. So I don't think we should be charging a young person based on the way they are living their life. You, as an older person, can direct them and tell them what they are doing is wrong, and speak to them in a proper manner. That is how young people feel welcome, and they will feel a sense of belonging in the sack.
So you think the church is using some wrong strategies?
Yes.
The approach needs
The
to be
approach
worked on.
is
Yeah.
not very healthy.
Yeah, the approach.
Because you have to understand, many young people come from different backgrounds. They're exposed to different ideologies on social media. So you have to know how to deal with those young people.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's how you have to know to talk to them.
Yes.
Go where they are and be able to
Yes.
reach to them and have a conversation with them, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that is my issue, because I find too many times the older folks are running the young people away. And
Are running the young
these
people.
young
away,
people
yeah.
can bring so many ideas towards the church. They can bring the church up to another level, whereas pushing them, as even Bishop Forbes said that in one of his sermons, that we should protect the young people. We should support them, motivate them, encourage them to do their best, because when you bash the young people and you throw them aside, they're no longer going to come to church.
Absolutely. You have to give them, encourage them,
Yeah.
and give them an opportunity.
need
That's
that
what we are trying to
encouragement.
do now on this
Yes.
particular program, to give you guys the opportunity to actually speak on areas that are important to you.
And also, what is another thing, that a young person might be coming to church, and then boom, you tell that young person something really bad. Whereas young people are very funny, they act differently. So that's why I am very good at observing young people, the way they act and the way they behave. So you, as an older person, speak to a young person badly, then boom, they don't want to stay there and take your nonsense. They want to walk away, and then I
Reject.
think, yes. Another thing is that I feel that, yes, young people can be corrected, but you have to know how to correct young people, not bash them and speak rowdy to them. You have to take it step by step with them and make them understand certain things that are wrong and certain things that are right. So you as an older person have to be very mindful the way in which you speak to a younger person.
Absolutely. In terms of sexually explicit content in abundance in every corner. What's your opinion? You guys are laughing.
In abundance.
It has been in abundance.
Thinking, wow.
What is your opinion on this?
Well, yes, that is one of the devil's best tricks,
Yeah.
So I mean, with young people, especially in Dominica, yeah, they see these things and they decide that is what I want. That is me, and
They can identify with this.
oh yes,
Yeah.
they say yes. And
That's
it's
right.
and in Dominica, Dominica is a very free up place, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So, and that is the bad thing. But all that how can you really stop it? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You can't.
No,
really-
but isn't there a responsibility to to play such content at certain times, certain
Well,
places?
Well,
what?
well,
Yeah,
just-
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, just as in high school and primary school, they have this subject they have in school called health and family life education. So health and family life education teaches you about sexual stuff and the whole family life situation. So sex is a normal thing, but young people shouldn't be engaging, especially if you are not in the age of having sex. You shouldn't be partaking in sexual activities. That shouldn't be in your bracket. You're supposed to be focusing on your studies, your books. I don't think a young person should be getting pregnant at a young age and go and put yourself in that stress gap there, and then you're going to be mentally stressed out, and then you're going to think of where I'm going to get this, where I'm going to get the pamper, where I'm going to get the milk. I always
And
feel
they're not
that
cheap.
in school, that is something that our teacher taught us at school: do not rush sex. Sex is not running anyway. Take a life one step at a time. Because in order for you to have a child, it requires financial planning. You don't want to go and have a child like boom. You just want to make a child for having a child. Like it's a game. I think you should think before you have sex. Or
Presently, you think
use
that
condom.
presently you think that our
Yes.
young people are rushing it, are rushing sex.
Yes,
Like,
they are rushing sex. So that's why they have contraceptive and the use of condom. So you have to protect yourself as a young person if you are engaged in sexual activities, because you never know, something might burst and then boom, the man plug you and then you
Get you pregnant. Get you
yeah,
pregnant. Get you pregnant. That is the.
Yes.
That is the.
And
We are with some young men, and very positive to my mind, and that's why you want to give them a listening ear, because the whole atmosphere is so contaminated with quite a bit of the ills when you meet some young positive men in particular, especially with the advent of so many of our suicide cases are men. So many of our young men have been shot. When you meet some positive young men, and by the way, they are planning a men's mental health conference,
Yeah.
and that's because they feel that the mental faculties is so important to our well-being. And we feel that they feel that's where we are actually lacking. Do you guys have any significant other? I mean, girlfriends, and so do you guys have girlfriends?
boy, sir, boy,
Huh?
boy. Not,
No, you can say just generally yes, or you seeing a
I
friend
am
and
single.
you're single.
Yeah.
All three of you are single.
yeah,
You're taking your time until you get
that-
married.
All honesty, I am single.
That's how it looks,
I am
yeah.
not
Honestly, you are waiting until you
Yeah,
get married.
in
in a
Dom-
rushing life.
In a Russian life, taking life one step at a time.
No friends that you kiss their hand, nothing.
Well, I already
Yeah,
kissed a female friend of mine.
Okay. But nothing where it involves anything
No,
further.
No, any further, no.
Uh-huh.
That's a kiss on the face, and that was
Okay, and that's it. And you're okay.
Yeah, okay, that.
Okay, so nothing further than just kiss on hand and kiss on
So,
face.
so
Well,
what
I
you
already
what you really
kissed on
want to
her.
know?
Yeah, I already kissed on her.
No, I
What you really
I looking at, because people's messaging me and asking me if these guys have girlfriends.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's why I just asking you the
well,
questions. You know that
yeah.
if you have, and nothing wrong in having. As a
No,
matter of fact,
no,
you
no,
guys are at
no,
the
no.
age where you could see
Yeah.
female friends and interact.
Mm.
Yeah.
And according to you, you will wait until you get married before you can decide you want to go further.
Well,
Especially because of the pressures of having unborn children
Yeah.
in those days.
well, you have to understand, Dominica is a place where, yes, we're at a loss for great young men, but it's just the same for young women. You understand? So you have to really stick with who's like you. You understand? You can't marry somebody and every day all you arguing about the same thing,
Yeah.
or try and date somebody and every day all you arguing. You have to get somebody like minded. You understand? And just as much as young men is drinking rum and smoking weed and all type of thing, young women in that too.
Yeah.
You check?
Absolutely. How challenging it is for you guys to stay on course, to stay focused with so many temptations around,
Boy,
and especially and not only temptations but peer pressure.
it hard, boy.
It's very hard.
It hard, boy.
How difficult? How difficult it is. Sometimes you feel like you want to try, or
Let me tell you something, if you don't have Christ in this world, you can never make it.
Amen,
Amen.
brother.
I'm telling you.
That
because,
is true.
Boy, it hard, boy.
Yeah, it's very
Everywhere
hard.
you go, and don't think
Because-
you can go to your local church and get a great ease because
so you know,
it's everywhere.
not even in the so even in the church, you have to be careful.
I hope nobody is watching.
Be careful with what the women, the young women in church, or be
Yeah.
careful with what
You have
exactly.
to be careful
Let me
with
tell you.
everything.
So some of the women are also very aggressive in the church.
Yes.
Well, they're very tricky.
Oh,
That's what-
tricky, that's the
very
word.
tricky. That is what I can say. I wouldn't say too much. You check what?
But then you have to be very focused.
Yes.
And sometimes you know you have to actually educate them. But how it is when you speak to your friends, your peers about wrong and right, and how they accept it when you try to show them the other side, because it is so easy to fall for the easier side. How difficult it is and how challenging it is for you to try to reach your peers, to try to make sure, because I know for sure they may call you soft, they may call you names, they may call you all kind of names, there may be stigmas attached to you because you don't want to get involved in certain things. But how difficult it is for you, and we can start with each one of you.
Well, I'll start first.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the Bible says, correct a fool, and chances are he's gonna curse you. But correct a wise man, and he'll increase in wisdom. So, and based off that, I've had my experiences. You know, you try and tell somebody something thinking that it's for their own benefit, and you get something told about your mother that you never knew. You know, so it's very hard. You know what I'm saying? So that is why you just truly, sometimes you have to have wisdom to know when to mind your business and when to try and help.
Okay, Tej.
Well, it can be very difficult, but as you said earlier, you have to remain focused on your goals. Like when I try and talk to some of my peers about it, like it can be, I feel like you're imposing your religion on them, like imposing certain regulations, and like you see it as can most have a mindset like one life to live.
So you think most of the young people, that is how they live their life, one life to live,
Yes, one life to
and they
live.
go flat out.
Yes, so
Every
they can do
weekend.
anything they want, when they want, because you like one life to live. Some of them like they don't believe in God. That's a problem in our society. Like many young people don't believe in God, so it's very hard to educate them on certain aspects when they don't believe in God.
Okay, yes, Shevin.
Okay, in order for me as a young man to remain focused in society and my spirituality, I believe that you have to put a lot of emphasis on Christ. You have to pray every day of your life, pray morning, noon, and night. And I know it might be easy, it might be challenging and can be tough out there, but you never let the negativity break you down. You always have to remain steadfast in yourself and never let anybody try to distract you from your goals, because if you know you are destined for something, you work hard towards it and you do not let the outside noise disturb you, because that is what Satan like. He brings noise, he brings different things around you to distract you from your goals. But you as a young person, You have to remain steadfast. You have to remain focused. Don't allow the negativity to get into your brain.
How do you view the political climate in Dominica?
Well, papa. Boy, that's
That's a heavy topic.
yeah, well, you sure we can talk about this on the air?
Yes, yes, of course,
As
man,
a-
of course, of
as a
course.
young man,
In
you know,
your
I have-
opinion,
I have
you know,
plenty
because
of
that's what we
life.
want.
I don't want hardship ahead of my time, you know.
No, it's not. I mean, that is what we're trying to find out from young, positive men
Okay.
with good heads on your shoulder. What you see, what you observe, and even what you would like to see, recommend,
I-
or where you think things are possibly going wrong that needs to be, brought
Okay.
back to some level of sanity.
Okay, me as a young man, how do I see the political arena in Dominica? I see that it has a tense issue on the young people, a deeply divided but also full untapped opportunity. So I feel that some politics are very passionate. People are loyal to their parties, sometimes too loyal, but sometimes we get to a point where it causes division and even among our families and our community, especially the young people who are trying to make it in life, who have an education and they're trying to break that poverty, that struggle at home. They're trying to build their family. So whereas I believe the political arena in Dominica has become too complacent on certain people where they try to make the young people life a living hell.
What about you, Tish?
Well, I believe that the political climate, like Aaron Shevin said, we are too divided. Like when we just see that all of us want the same thing, we just have to come together to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I also believe that it doesn't always have to be about the government. We can do certain things on our own because it takes one thing to make a difference. So we all can be the difference we want in our community. So it doesn't have to be political. Let's just make our nation great by working together as a community.
Dylan?
Well, while I agree somewhat with what Terj said, but I mean, at the end of the day, it really is the government that has its responsibility of the country and the economy. And actually, I want to go to school for political science. I plan to try.
You want to be a political scientist?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
I want to go to UE September, so I'm going to try out for that. But really and truly,
What? Why political science? I'm just asking, eh?
well, well, like I said, I feel that I can do anything in life. I can be anything in life, and I just see sometimes you have to try and recognize your purpose. It's never really gonna come out to you and just smack you in the face. But I just see that the country it needs help. You know what I'm saying? The country needs help. The government needs to start to do things to try and encourage Dominicans to be better, to try and better themselves, and especially for education, man. The people have to be educated, and there's not a lot of education facilities for Dominica, and they don't offer a lot of programs that you can get. So that is why I really want to try and help out.
And help and make a difference.
Yes, and make it in a meaningful way. Because yes, I mean, while you can have a community, you can have your community doing thing. If the government not helping you, then what can you really do?
And another thing, Wadix, I believe that too many of our young men are laid back. Like we giving them the materialistic things. Instead of making them go learn a trade, they may not be academically inclined, or make them go to learn a trade so that they can make some income for themselves. Because I find too many times we give our young men things freely. Like we don't make them go and work hard for it. You know that song saying, I work hard for that?
Yeah.
I believe that you as a young man should be working. You're supposed to be sweating. You see me, Wadix? I work very hard. I don't like to be idle. I like to be outgoing. I like to be doing work. That's how it keeps my mind focused as a young person.
If you would have to change the situation, Dylan is actually heading towards a political scientist. If you would have to change how things are presently, and we're talking about on both sides of the fence, what changes would you like to see?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
As a young person, I mean, aspiring to be a political scientist, what would you like to see changed? If you have the power to change anything now.
Well, well. The first thing is I would do is once again illegalize the selling of marijuana unless it is for medical use. And then I would also, well, like you know how in America I would also put very heavy restrictions on the usage of alcohol. You understand? Because yes, you can free up yourself and thing, but that is mainly that's mainly the problem in Dominica. But there's a whole lot of other things that could be addressed besides just drugs and them that. Like for example, waste disposal. Waste disposal is very bad in Dominica, very terrible. And I thought when the well, can I get into that topic? Can I
Yes,
get-
yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
man.
okay, okay.
We talking
Well, when what is the solid waste corporation?
solid waste. Yeah.
Yes. They came and they heard they talked to us, and I heard that they were the the regional solid waste, responsible for regional solid waste in the Caribbean. I was very excited. I said, yes, this is great. And I seen they put in some garbage bins in Roseau. I said, this is amazing. Dominica, it's very, and when you go into Dominica, I mean, let's be honest. Can I say this?
Yes,
Yes.
you can.
Okay. I mean, sometimes you go into Roseau and it just exudes a fetid. Roseau is a very fetid odor, and a little redundant, but fetid odor, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that is why waste disposal is very important. I mean, and it's all around the region. And when I seen them, I got hope, but it doesn't seem anything has changed. I seen Antigua and Dominica, they received some garbage trucks, and Antigua received 10 state-of-the-art garbage trucks, and Dominica received one little Mitsubishi little truck. That I said, what is this? This is.
So, as a young person, you're very much concerned.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very concerned. I'm
Yes.
very concerned. The future is very bad, and the adults. I mean, the adults aren't helping to be the role models that they should be for the children. So it's very bad. If you don't have hope in this country, you're very bad off.
Role models. How
Yeah.
important is role models, mentors for young people? Is there enough? Is there that awareness? Is there people that the young people can turn to when in difficulty? Go ahead,
Okay.
Trevin.
Okay. In my opinion, like what I was saying, that I studied to be psychology, but a psychology, sorry. I believe that Dominica need more psychologists because we see that a lot of our youth are facing different challenges in their life, and we don't have enough psychologists on island. And I believe that that is something that we should look forward to getting more psychologists here in Dominica. I believe that so many of us, we go to study to become a doctor, lawyer, teacher, and etc. But I believe that we should have more psychologists in our country, Dominica, because we look at Maria just passed in 2017. A lot of people was so over the place. Their pressure was sky high. They lost their life because of stress. They didn't have anybody to speak to, and they just died because of so many things on their brain. And I believe that counseling somebody is very important instead of making them go through that hard journey by themselves. I believe counseling the person is very important, and making them focus on the positive, because when you draw them away and you ignore them, it's kind of tough on the end, because a lot of people, they may need a little person to motivate them, to guide them in that proper path of life, because a lot of people face different difficulty, especially in Dominica. I have encountered it. I could recall a time I walked in town, and there was this lady who was walking towards me, and she was like, boy, having to speak to you after all what she said to me, she feel relief. She feel like her shoulder is more light, you check, because sometimes people just need that specific one person to spark a light into their lives and just transform their day into a better day. Because I always believe in motivating other people and to helping other people to prosper in life.
So you're suggesting we should have more counselors? Are
Yes.
counselors available at the college and the various secondary schools in Dominica?
Well, I mean, yes, SMA has a guidance counselor.
College
But
has one. So
they don't really. I
They
think
deal with
that,
mental health also? Mental health issues?
well,
Stress
I'm
and stress
I'm
related
not too
issues?
sure if they're really all that certified. I'm not sure. I'm not saying they aren't, but I'm just not sure. But I know my father is a mental health counselor, but at the same time, they give a lot of hardship. The government, they give hardship. I can remember my father went through a lot of hardship trying and start his mental health business. He went through a lot trying and do that. So the government, that is really the government's job to once again encourage people to become psychologists, mental health counselors, and offer maybe subsidies, grants for people who are trying to enter into that field. Make it easier on people.
because Wadix, as a young man, having to go to school, school right now has a lot of bullies, and having to be faced with, as a student who was being bullied.
Have any one of you been, any one of you experienced bullying? I
Yeah,
mean, personally,
I did.
and peers,
I did experience it from primary to high school.
okay, why?
Because sometimes certain students came from different background, different family home, but the way you carry yourself as a young boy, they feel like you're supposed to be like them. But I always remain
Too respectful,
focused.
you were too soft
Yes.
and too respectful.
Yes. So I always believe in the way my parents raised me to have manners, to carry myself in a proper manner, because a lot of the children who come to school, they wasn't raised properly, and whereas they come into school and they try to make your life a living hell by calling you names, by taking your pencil, taking your snack, taking your stuff away from you, and whereas you as the person they're crying, and I could never forget them times in my life where a young man took my snack away. I think like, but where my recess now, break time, I coming to eat, nothing to eat. I check like if the young man didn't have snack, I could literally share with him. But
Yes,
he
but he
took my
actually
snack
take.
away, and I couldn't eat anything. But the principal end up buying snack for me because I didn't have anything to eat for break, because that was my snack. And I always believe when I come into school, always bring a little snack for somebody who do not have.
Yeah.
Because certain children come to school hungry, they do not have no recess, and I walk with an extra juice in my snacket in my bag, and then I share with them because I always believe in sharing.
What about you, Tej? Have you experienced bullying?
No, but I've seen other people got bullied in the school.
And how you feel about it?
Well, it's quite a sad situation. I mean, sometimes bullies are the ones they actually hurt. They just push the insecurities on other people. So maybe they also need help too. So both the victim and the bully all need help.
Absolutely. What about you, Dylan?
Well, I mean, maybe I have experienced bullying, but I've never really felt that I've been, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe if you bullying me, but I wouldn't really notice, you understand? Because I mean, me, I know I'm not a guy. I'm not an insecure guy, you check. So, but I mean, you don't really, I'm not saying you have to be insecure about bullying, but I don't know.
You're confident of who you are.
Yes.
You know your worth, your
You
value.
put it right. I'm very, very confident who I am. I mean, I'm not a weak guy. I have some muscle on me. I know I can defend myself.
Yeah.
You know, so
If you have to fight back, you will fight back.
if I have to, you understand? If I have to.
But I must say, Wadix, with me facing bullying at school, being bullied from primary to high school, I was very thankful for the teachers who stood at my corner, who journeyed with me, because it wasn't easy. When I tell people I was bullied at school, they be like, "What? You do not look like that type of person that was being bullied at school." I tell them, "Of course," but I just remain strong and walk through the school compound with my mind focused and to do what I have to do.
Absolutely. And as we wind down, I really want you to dig deep and look at society as it is. Look at your peers. Look at people around your church, people that you see every day, people you went to, even primary school, and how they live their life. And what advice would you have for them? Let's start with Tej.
Well, my advice would be like, it's not to follow your friends, because you see your friend have that doesn't mean you have to have it too. Like, work at your own pace. Like, live at your means. Don't go above it. Like, be your own person. Help those in need. Go out. Help your community. Get involved. Go to church. Like, there's so many things we can do as young men to better our community and to help others.
What about Dylan? What about you?
Well, I've observed that there's a lot of gang violence, and that's very important. And it's not limited to adults anymore. I mean, you can be I seen third, fourth man stabbing each other. It's bad. People, then it's very much encouraged by the older generation. People have older brothers and uncles, and they're encouraging these young men to join a gang and to fight and stand up for themselves for whatever they believe in. So it's very bad when it comes down to that front. And then there's a lot of young men who believe that they cannot escape it. They believe they're in it and they cannot get out of it. But for that young man listening out there today, there's hope for you.
Yeah,
There is hope for you. And I'm not really too sure about the gang situation in Dominica, but I know it's not like the cartels where if you want to get out, you're gonna die and all that. No, just tell them you're not in it again, and then just go and live your life. Yes, you're gonna face hardship from them, but just know in the long run you'll be better off. And that is it.
So my final word to a young person is, you are matter. Don't give up on yourself, and don't let any setback stop you from reaching where you want to reach in life. Rise at every time you fall. Dream big. Stay focused. Be bold. Have confidence in yourself. And remember, your story is still being written. So don't let anything stop you from reaching where you are to reach today. It might be a rough road. The road might not be easy, but with God, everything is possible.
What's the mission statement of your organization? Can any of you remember?
Well, surely.
Well, the mission statement for the Men to Men organization is
And while you're looking at it, Dylan, possibly you could start to encourage your peers, encourage Dominica by extension,
Yes.
to invite them to that special upcoming mental health conference, the date, the place, and what would one need to be part of this?
Well, I'll tell the people now. If you're struggling with substance abuse, depression, anxiety, maybe a significant other, you can even bring your significant other, and or you will get an individual counseling. But if you're struggling with something, then I know for a fact that is the first step forward toward development for you as a person and toward growth for the country, because there's a lot of things that happen in Dominica. I mean, I heard a man went mad and he ended up hurting his mother, and he was telling people that they killed them. I mean, a lot of these things happen. There's a lot of mad people in the country. So if you think that you're mad or you're getting to that point, then you can definitely make your way down to the mental health conference. Or even if you just believe that you just need a little help, a little encouragement, you can even bring your nephew, your uncle, whoever it may be, even your father, you know what I'm saying? But bring somebody so that you can help the country grow. It's UE Open Campus at 5 p.m. And on June 21st, there will be free. I mean, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. You understand? This is free counseling for about 10 to 15 minutes from a professional, Dr. Regis, my father. And he also has a mental health counseling thing in Pichlet. But this is a prime opportunity. You can learn more about yourself, learn more about your mental state. I mean, this is great. So definitely make your way. UE Open Campus, June 21st at 5 o'clock.
Absolutely. You have the mission statement ready for me,
Yes, we
Shabin?
do. So the mission statement is to create a supportive brotherhood where men can cultivate self-awareness, emotional resilience, physical vitality, spiritual depth for authentic connection, shared wisdom, and intentional growth practices.
Absolutely. And Shavin,
As we wind down Wadix, I want to encourage person out there because we are a new group, so we are looking for some form of refreshment to provide
sponsored
to
refreshment.
sponsors.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sponsored
for-
refreshment.
yes. So we are seeking sponsorship for our men-to-men symposium, which is scheduled for next Saturday. If you want to help
Assist.
assist, you can reach out to me at 277-3765.
Okay, repeat the number.
277-3765.
Do you have a budget in place for the refreshments? I mean, that's the first thing you need to do.
Yes.
To find out the accommodation at the venue and multiply that by each person.
Listen, yeah.
And what's the budget like?
Well, we are looking to cater for 300 men.
300 men.
Yeah.
And you're expecting 300 men to be at the
Venue.
but you need to get a budget so that they can possibly listen, and who knows, after this program you can actually get some responses.
Yeah.
Will this particular conference be held will be streamed? Will it be streamed?
Yes, it will be streamed by DBS Radio. We are
You have made arrangements with DBS Radio.
Yes.
hmm So it will be streamed live
Be
by
streamed live.
DBS Radio.
DBS
So you
Radio.
can. Will it be live on DBS also? Live on DBS and plus
Well,
the
I
Facebook,
think just
DBS Facebook page?
Just the Facebook.
Just the Facebook page.
Yes, yes.
But it will be good if in case you can negotiate for sponsorship for, let's say, the actual live program. I mean, young men reaching out to the public
Yeah.
to come and support them in their initiative as they try to, overcome some of the challenges. We have a few more time. Our producer give us a couple extra minutes. What are other objectives that or other plans for future with the Men or Boys to Men organization? Any other future plans besides this conference?
Well, after this conference, we look forward to bringing it to a higher height. So we starting step by step. So after this symposium, we look forward to maybe networking with other Caribbean countries where we might send for a speaker to speak to the young men of Dominica, because I believe in networking, and that's it how we grow as young people.
But even maybe before that, for me, I would like to have a group where we can, something like a Boy Scouts or something where young men can actually be engaged with each other on a more personal note. There's a lot of activities for girls in Dominica. I mean, we have Girl Scouts, and Convent has a lot of activities on its own. But when I see myself as a young man, I like to be involved in a lot. I don't see a lot of opportunities, any opportunities for me to explore outside of school.
What do you guys, partake? For instance, my age group, we played, apart from the normal sports, cricket, football, but we played cowboy. We we went behind birds. We went to the farm, that sort of thing. We even played with the girls, skip, and we played hopscotch, ring games. We delved into culture. I mean, you as a young person now, what are some of the activities you partake in?
Well, I'm trying to be a musician.
A musician, okay.
I play bass guitar, I play drum, and I'm trying to join. I want to join a choir. I want to sing.
You should join Cicero Singers.
Hey, big dream, but that is one. I'm in drama, theater arts, acting. I won best actor for, I think, 2024 school season. So that is, I also want to join the Leo Club.
Oh, nice.
I want to join. That is how I met Shervin in the first place. I wanted to join the Leo Club, and here we are now. So yes, but you really have to look for opportunity. Yeah.
For men,
Yes.
they are far and few in between. What about you, Tush?
Well, I involve in a lot of community work. Like I involve in my youth group at church. We organize activities.
Youth group as well.
I also involved in YAC, Youth Emergency Action Committee. It's a disaster preparedness group for youth. So do a lot of like community projects like cleanups and help people register, create disaster plans. I'm also involved in the Dominica Leo Club as well, where we also have our main event, the Dominica Buyo Calypso Junior Monarch.
Mm-hmm.
For, for me, Wadix, I am involved in the Leo Club of Dominica. As TJ said, we host the Junior Calypso Bouillon Monarch every carnival season. I am a part of the St. Anne's Youth Group, and I'm the head altar server there. And also, I am part of the YAC. And I just like to be involved in positive group to keep me positive as a young man, to keep me focused, to stay away from trouble and the outside world.
How important is political debate? Do you guys watch international television, CNN? And
Yes.
How
we do.
important you think as a young person is political debate? And you're talking about debate of the issues of the day, that sort of thing, to encourage the young people as to what side they should take.
Well,
What's your opinion?
it's very important to question everything that goes on in this world today. Very important to question everything. You see something, maybe you see your politician scared, maybe he does something in act, or maybe he gets into an argument with the Workers' Party about something. Don't just choose a side based off what you hear. You know, you look, go and find information on what they're talking about, and then pick your side. You have to be very woke in today's society. So political debate, that's very important to learn about politics, learn the laws of your country, and yes.
What about you,
It's
Tej?
very important to be informed. Like, we should know what's going on in our world, our country. We should know like what our leaders are doing. We should also keep ourselves informed about the issues that matter, like climate change, the war on drugs, the wars like in Gaza and Ukraine. Is very important. Like, we shouldn't be ignorant to what's going on in our world. Keep ourselves informed, and based on that, we'll make our pick a side.
Sherwin?
To be honest, I believe that we have so many things in Dominica that we can change and input there. I believe that we should create more stuff for young men, especially our young men in Dominica, to keep them focused, because I believe that a lot of our young men are so distracted by the outside world, and there is not enough stuff in
So you think enough activities, enough
for them to
seriousness is not being placed on the
Yes,
young men?
Men, yes. I believe that we should put more emphasis on our young men, because we don't want to lose our young men. We don't want to have Dominica empty without men, because we find in statistics now we have more women than men,
Yeah.
because we are losing our young men.
Only
We
50,000
also have
people.
most of men are also in prisons and making
A lot of
the-
men in prison, a lot
yeah.
of men are killing themselves, a lot of men have been shot through whatever level of violence and that sort of thing. Do you guys listen to the radio by chance?
Yes, I do.
Listen to the news?
Yes, I do.
Which station interests you? And
DBS.
feel free, not because you're on DBS radio.
I
And
love
why?
DBS.
Which station interests you and why?
The reason why
And what programs interest you and why?
Okay, the reason why I love DBS radio, I love listening to the news reports.
The news report. yeah.
Especially, and also I listen to the youth show.
Oh,
They
on
have
Saturday,
every
yes, exactly.
as well. It's very positive to see Jamasha doing a positive work
Yeah.
as a young lady, and it's good to see DBS promoting young people as well, and giving them the motivation and the support that they need in their lives.
You listen to radio, Tej?
occasionally, but I'll listen to the morning news, because I just find most of our stations very political.
But that's what it's about, you know. Yeah.
It's too political for you.
Yes.
And what about you, Dylan?
Well, I do not listen to radio as much. I hear CNN on TV.
More international
Yeah.
television.
Yeah, so about that.
Why you don't indulge too much in local radio?
Well, I'm not gonna say I don't do. I'm not.
Or very little?
I'm not gonna say I don't make I'm just saying I don't make a conscious effort to do it, and that's mainly that was because recently, I mean, I've been in school, you know, exams been really holding me strong, boy. And then at the same time, I don't really have a radio. I don't have a radio at my home, and to get a radio station. I mean, I'm just like a young person as well. You understand? I'm a young
So the majority of young people don't listen to radio.
I am pretty.
Is that a true
yes,
statement? The
yes,
majority of
yes,
young people
I-
don't listen to radio.
it-
They would be more indulge in their gadgets and so on.
Yes,
you,
I agree
you
with
know,
that.
it's a very niche thing to do.
Okay, so we're getting set as Dr. Mick steps in. So final words to you, Shavin, as we get set for the
Okay.
other program. We want to thank the program director
Yes.
for giving us this special extra minutes. So just round up, Shavin, as we
As-
get set for the next
Okay,
program.
as I round up, I like to encourage all the men out there to find yourself at the UE Open Campus on June 21st, 2025. Mark your calendar and make it a line, and come be inspired and be motivated by these 4 speakers we have on the evening of.
And the free counseling.
Yes.
And the
5
free
o'clock.
counseling.
And comfort.
Just want to thank you guys so much for really enlightening us on the work that you're doing, and I really hope that your organization will be one that reap tremendous dividends, longevity, and really touch the lives of our young men in Dominica. We need so much of that sort of positivity. Too many times we see our young men straying and indulging in stuff that are not worthy at their age, and we are losing so many of our men to violence and so many
Yes,
of
yes.
the other ills. But then to see a group of positive men, it's really encouraging, and I really want to continue to encourage you guys.
Thank you.
The platform is available at whenever you feel to discuss, and even give us an idea of how this particular conference. Give us a little report on it. You could also reach me. I'm sure you know how to reach me.
Yes.
But I want to thank you. Many, many, many thanks for this special interview there. Thank you very much. Continue to do what you guys doing,
Yes,
and
thank you.
let's see how we can
Thank you
really
for having us.
Thank you
feel
for having us.
feel up the UE Open Center on the 21st. So may God bless you guys, and may God bless Dominica. By the way, much love to you and what you do for Dominica, and God bless you.
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Good.
Yes, I. Sakai Malan, Prince Wadix, Prince Wadix, Prince Wadix, Prince Wadix. Papou a wete ba moun fle la yo mange a quitter la vie. Akwisiye sa yo ka fe ko yo a parmi nou joli. La se mauvais valet.